Hey guys, the Monk 52 here, of course, and today we're discussing Nassau on membership request by Chalky the Magnificent, or whatever name she goes by right now. Okay, so secondary bear mod is what I would recommend. Propulsion mod is what I like. I like propulsion mod most of the time. You could go either 3, but I think propulsion mod is the way to go. Dark position, there's no other choice for tier 3, and for option, rare option, you get artillery plotting room for the 4 slot, which is unusual for a tier 3 boat. Quite expensive though. Spend at your own risk for a tier 3 boat, maybe not worth it, I don't know. Standard ammunition types, HEAP, and you get pretty low health pool, but you are buffed up using the hide commander, but we'll talk about that later. And we get some decent secondaries. That's your biggest thing. You get decent armor, you get decent secondaries, and you got different characteristics for the guns, which are kind of low caliber 283s. You're getting 12 AP secondaries, 12 HE secondaries, and a little bit 4 more HE secondaries that are more than capable of doing the damage they want to do at tier 3. Tier 3, you have no AA, you're kind of slow, but you're still fast enough for the tier, and you're pretty stealthy, honestly. For looking at the, the armor. There we go, the armor. So you're looking at the armor of the boat here. Just take off the camo skin there. It makes it a little bit hard to see with a giant fist and all that. So you've got a pretty good armor scheme, one of the best at tier 3, if not the best. You've got obviously this overmatchable, but you've got an icebreaker on top. Really steep turtleback, very difficult to sit on Nassau, almost nigh impossible. As you've seen here, you've got really thick casemate armor and actually relatively thick deck plating as well. You may think 25 is kind of weak, but for tier 3, that's actually really, really good armor for the tier, and really not much superstructure for a German boat as well. Mostly deck penetrations are going to do the damage to you, but you'd be surprised how tanky this thing can be. It's one hell of a tanky boat. The rear end's a little more squishy than the front end. If you're comparing this to the likes of Kaiser, you can see the deck plating is significantly thinner, and the side plating is significantly thinner as well. Though obviously the turtleback is pretty much the same as well. But you can see the difference in penetration and superstructure. There's not much than Nassau. It's a lot tankier boat, but Nassau does get the small guns, the 283s, whereas Nassau gets the big caliber guns for the tier, which are the 305s. So yeah, look into that, and we'll put our camo back on because like the fist camo and so forth. Anyway, commander of choice, Heinrich Hyde. It's his ship after all for our game. Obviously, Richmond's over HP buff, really good. Cannoneer or brawler, wherever you pick, honestly up to you at this tier. Porcupine's probably recommended here. Ali Dad's pretty good skill too though. Master mechanic, firefighter, fire with fire, or running with scissors. Take your pick, honestly. Fire with fire is better for me. Franz on Hipper and Haruna for a full secondary build. If you don't have height, auto is the next best thing, 100%. With a similar build, you can swap out Kedroff though for William Sims. That's my recommendation there. Obviously, Walter build is probably better in this case, but William Sims will help you out because you really don't have much hit points. You've only got 35k as opposed to like a Kaiser's 46. You're losing on 10k health. That's a lot of health lost. So really start investing into either fire prevention skills or, again, William Sims if you haven't leveled up enough. So yeah, Nassau is low health but really good armor, which is almost the case for the higher tier premiums like Brandenburg and Odin. You get really good armor, but you get a big chunk to your hit points as well. Now, for tier 3, I don't do as many tactics as I would, because tier 3 is genuinely not to be, there's not too many tactics in tier 3, usually just charge in. And with Nassau, it does that probably better than anyone else, even with the agincourt being available, which is obviously a better secondary boat. But the problem with this, the problem with the agincourt over the Nassau is Nassau wins on tankiness, and if you can survive longer, you can typically do more damage to your secondaries because they're firing more, but agincourt will win a secondary duel, but at the same time, your main guns, and if he angles and you angle, you probably win that fight because you're just a lot tankier than he is. So it's an interesting concept if you pick it out. Now, characteristic about these German guns here, these 283 I believe, they're actually the floatiest guns for the Germans at this high caliber. They're very floaty, they arc over islands. You can see they've got a really high arc, so they're actually really good at shooting over islands, the Nassau guns. They've also got one of the worst pens in of the Germans, but they're perfectly adequate at killing cruisers and even heading destroyers as well. But you have really floaty guns, and it's actually one of the most accurate as well. One of the most accurate German battleships we have right now. Obviously at tier 3, you know, having nice accuracy does help. It's always nice to have good accuracy in your battleship. But you've got floaty guns, which is nice for shooting over islands, and you've got good accuracy for the most part, considering it's a German battleship. So it's pretty good. I do recommend a very ballsy strategy, a very aggressive way to play in Nassau. You can charge DDs, you've got pretty good concealment, pretty good maneuverability, I'm not really proving it right now because I'm doing the quality beats right here. It's still tactical, don't worry. But we can push the middle here. We don't have to worry about too much. HE spam is always a problem, but regardless, we've got 5 heals, we've got fire with fire, so we should be able to counteract most of that if we get to spam for too long. Carriers are always in tier 3 pretty much every game, so you just have to deal with that, unfortunately. Nothing really you can do because you don't have any AA, and nothing really at tier 3 has much AA at all, so just good luck, just try to dodge, that's all you can do. It's one of the most maneuverable as well, German battleships we have as well. It's very, very maneuverable, it's very agile. Nassau. So you've got a lot of good things going for you. The guns again are low caliber, but you can make them work. I recommend switching shell types if you don't get broadside BBs. You definitely want to try and burn them down before anything else, because your AP will just not do much really on even on the superstructures. You'll kind of struggle unless you see something broadside. You probably don't want to be using AP. But then again, you know, you have what you have loaded in the shells. You know, just fire. You know, I'm not going to switch to HE, waste a whole salvo. I'm going to fire what I have here, and I can see maybe I can secondary down the Sisakazi and focus my efforts on the Svetlana, but I'm just going to fire what I've got. Sometimes you just don't have the time for it and you've got other things to shoot at, so yeah, but you do want to switch whenever possible, and if you know you're shooting a destroyer or a heavily angled battleship, you know, basically. Now, again, I recommend being quite ballsy. It is tier 3 after all. It's not really much of a risk in losing your boat, you know, it's for funsies anyway, it really is, and just enjoy yourself. I think sometimes when I'm very serious about these masterclasses, but sometimes with Nassau, you just get in there and you have a field day. You've got really good maneuverability, really good agility, so you can push DDs, not too much of a problem, as long as they're not point blank, you should be able to dodge most of the torpedoes, and again, unless they're seal clubbing at tier 3 like you are while you're watching this. No, I'll be kidding. Unless you're fighting a very good player, it's going to be difficult to actually get many torps on you because you are very agile. I'm not even running the steering mirrors mod, but just imagine if you are. I think the prop mod is far more useful because the acceleration duking and the power acceleration is very nice in these boats. You can see us, but you can't really torp us bow on because nothing really has access to that unless you're British. He's popped in here at 1.7 kilometers, and we're doing some sizable chunk damage to him again. We're pretty ruining him pretty much. We're 1.7 kilometers away, and our secondaries is going to start doing work here. Probably has another reload, maybe, but again, secondaries just broke his engine and torpedo tubes, and he's out. Basically, yeah, he got one set off. We're going to eat one torpedo, but hey, what really matters? It's only we've not taken no damage. We're pushing the middle of this map as well. You can be quite ballsy in Nassau, and you can usually get away with it. It is one of these boats you just charge in, you know, that is what I'd recommend in this boat. It's a fun boat, great fun. Range of secondaries with a full secondary build is about 7.9 kilometers, same as Agincourt. That's probably the theoretical max we have at tier 3, I believe. So I'll have the secondary focused on them, but they won't actually be shooting until obviously the end range. Secondaries are a bit weird in this game. I believe they're the same as a PC version. Where they have to reload before they acquire a target. So they acquire the target, you're in 7.9 seconds. Then, instead of having the guns preloaded, they had to reload the gun, then fire. It's weird. Yeah. Fortunately, the carrier's not been bothering us too much, which is obviously a big plus, because we actually don't have any AA. We have one guy shooting a Makarov pistol or a Mauser. You know, that's literally what he's doing. Yeah, he's doing nothing, basically. We have 7 AA, you know, 7 damage per second of a plane that has a couple thousand health, maybe 1,000, 2,000 region health. Yeah, we're going to take a long time to shoot in a single plane, and yeah, we're just pushing them, and we're just going to go into the base, and there's nothing they can do about it, really. They can try and torp us, but as long as we are aware of our surroundings, we're duking, we're turning our boat frequently, it's going to be very difficult for our torpedo boat to destroy us here. So yeah, Nassau Guasano, again, these are lower caliber guns, even higher chance of not getting overpinned because they have a lower armoring threshold, though we did aim a little bit high there, I think, because the Guasano is quite fast boat, and it's actually a pretty good boat. I actually do like this boat. I actually currently hold a record for the boat as well. Very good fun boat, the Guasano. I do enjoy that, actually. For tier 3, it's quite surprising. But yeah, we're going to try aim a little bit lower this time and give him plenty of lead, because Guasanos are typically quite fast. So we'll try again, and no, we still get 1 over pen. That's a little bit unfortunate. It still is a German boat after all. It does have decent accuracy for a German boat, but it still is for a German boat. Pavoisky's kind of pushing in here a little bit. We've got our secondary consumable running, and the secondaries are now firing on the man. He's quite far away, but again, Nassau has pretty good secondary accuracy. This is a Pavoisky, very quick boat, and it's going to be difficult to hit. We're trying to get some hits here. Nothing looks like no secondary hits, but they were pretty close, not gonna lie. Those are Guasano torps, very slow. We weren't, we shouldn't have taken those, honestly, but at the same time, it's not really big a deal. Italian torps don't really hit very hard unless they're Paolo Emilio, and again, very slow. And this Guasano's getting a little bit too cocky. He's getting overpinned constantly, which is very lucky in his part, but hey, secondaries are going to start working on him here. Carrier's going for it as well, but again, we're just taking it like a champ. We are a very tanky boat, and we've got really good maneuverability, as you can see there. Case in point, we can just dodge those carrier torps like they're nothing, assuming the Guasano doesn't have anything else. Hopefully Guasano doesn't get lucky once more. No, he still gets very lucky. 4 overpins and 1 penetration. That is unreal, but hey, that's just RNG, that's how it goes. But the secondaries are working him over, and we're just going to do what we can here, honestly. Yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. We're working down secondaries. There we go. There's a secondary kill on Guasano. We basically citadeled him with 4 pins, which is a little bit unfortunate. We know we're going to shoot Destroyer next. We're going to have the HE loaded. Now, because we don't have any AA, basically, in order to stop being harassed by the carrier, we basically need to charge him down and kill him. And yeah, that's pretty much what we need to do. Looks like our team have relatively mopped up the rest of the map here. Us capping their base has really messed up their plans, and yeah, that's pretty much what you want to do. You want to charge in with Nassau, really. Again, you can overextend into Nassau 100%. You can get yourself killed. A controlled aggression is what I'd recommend. This is 100%, in my opinion. It's an aggressive play, yeah, but it's not really stupid just yet. You know, we're on the edge of it, but yeah, we're not there just yet. We're only fighting at most 2 boats here. Carrier's giving us a big problem, but then again, carrier gives you a problem no matter what you do, unless you're next to the friendly carrier, which is usually at the back of the map. So realistically, you're not going to do much. Like, honestly, carrier's just gonna hurt you anyway, regardless. Oh, alright. So we could have killed the Povoisky, but our friendly BB takes that kill. It's not a problem. We're capping this base here, but let's be real here. Carrier is going to be harassing us every step of the way. Povoisky fires his torps here, but again, we're pretty quick. And Povoisky doesn't have much range on its torpedoes. So yeah, we're not going to be able to cap the base unless we dodge every salvo from the carrier, which is going to be quite an ordeal, considering he's going to have nothing but us to focus on for a wee bit. So yeah, let's just charge him down. Honestly, it's nice killing a carrier, feels good. So we're just going to go and charge him down, because this is what Nassau does. You want to be pushing a target, and it's really difficult to stop you unless you're getting torpedoed. Again, giving broadside, regardless of your turtleback armor scheme, will still hurt like a bitch, so you need to be very careful with that. And you need to be aware that you need to dodge these torpedoes, and you need to dodge the shells, and you need to angle up your armor against other battleships. Your guns will be good against cruisers in particular, most of the time. Yeah, you know, didn't really prove it with the Guasano, but usually you get something nice. But your guns against battleships will take some time to do the job. You know, you won't be dev striking BBs. You'll be getting good hits, you get it wrong, but you'll be struggling to get citadels. Like, it's actually tough to citadel gangut. He's going to bomb me here, and I don't think I can do it. I could maybe cap the base, but I'm just going to charge him down at this point. Gotta put some pressure on him. It looks like he's at the back of the map, and I'd rather just kill him, honestly. It just brings me a lot more joy. Turning your boat frequently will try to help you dodge the carriers, and that's all you can do. Pop a heal, because I'm expecting to get hit here. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, I mean, carriers are always going to be like this, particularly when you're fighting boats that don't have any AA, you just have no defense whatsoever against them. It's always fun to fight something like that. Anyway, moving on. No, yeah, but as I said with Nassau, you're basically being aggressive as you can be, within somewhat reason, because you don't want to get yourself just killed in the first 5 minutes of the game. But as long as you don't eat torpedoes, and you don't get broadside to battleships, you will last quite a bit. And if you're running a similar build to I have, you will last a bit with the fire. The fires won't do as much as you may think. They obviously will do fires. Fires are very strong in this game, and you can get some serious hurt from that. But at the same time, you can really push and get a lot done with these guns. You've got fast firing guns. They really reload quite quickly. You've got wing turrets, which means you can fire one, then swing your butt around and get the other one. And you've got a fair amount of guns as well, and you've got really powerful secondaries as well, which is really, you've got a lot going for you, honestly, with Nassau. Very solid tier 3, a lot of fun to play, and I just recommend being aggressive in it, because that's the funnest way to play it. You want to play a sniper-esque build on the Nassau, by all means, it's up to you, but I just think the more fun the most fun you can get at this bow is by playing it aggressively as hell. And yeah, brings me joy. It's a good wee bow. Whether this or the agincourt, that's a debatable question. It really depends on what you want and how you want to play. If you want to be pushing aggressive 24/7, no stop, you know, no rest, Nassau is 100% better than agincourt. But if you want to be conservative but have your secondary brawlings and pick your timings, pick your moments, then agincourt's probably better for the secondaries alone. But agincourt doesn't have the armor that Nassau has. Nassau is one of the best armored boats in tier 3, and it's going to be it's still a powerhouse even after the Nassau, even after agincourt has been released. So just be aware of that. It's not down there yet. It's not being power crept yet. It's still a strong boat. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this malarkey of madness that is charging straight through the middle in a tier 3 game. But that's what happens in tier 3. It's just fun, you know. Just enjoy yourself sometimes. You know, it doesn't have to be all serious. So yeah, let's try and avoid these torpedo drops, and that should be the last of the carrier, which is always nice. So the best A defense against Nassau in the carrier is to actually kill the CV. Who knew? So all that's left is, I believe, another gem BB. We're going to dodge these torps here, and then I'll speed this up for you. And there we go. We had the torps. We dodged them, and we'll just transition because we're just sailing about. And that's basically 4 seconds left. We're just looking at the Koenig. We're just looking funny, switching to AP for the second match, and there we go. Pick up a dreadnought, and that's the battle ended, really. Yeah. So what did we pick up? We picked up the high cal. We got the Confederate. We got the dreadnought. We got 2 close quarters X, which is kind of funny. 97k, which is decent for tier 3, and only 2k base. But hey, there's always better games we played. But I think this is a pretty good summary of Nassau. You know, you just push in, you be aggressive, use secondaries, use all your guns, even your wing turrets, twist and turn, duke the torps, charge in, and push the enemy down. And just win the game that way, honestly. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video as always, guys. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.